Today, I want to speak directly to the woman who feels like she started too late or maybe hasn't started at all. This episode is your reminder that your story is not over. You don't age out of strength, growth, or becoming who you were meant to be. Today's conversation is going to show you what's possible when you decide to begin right where you are. Greetings and welcome to the Elevated Flow podcast. I'm your host, Coach Flo, aka the Black Rowing Queen. The Elevated Flow podcast spotlights elite and everyday female athletes, mostly over 40, sharing how they elevate their game and their flow in sports, wellness, work, and life. These are powerful stories of strength, resilience, wisdom, and inspiration to help women stay active, age strong, and pass the torch to the next generation. Today, I have a very special guest with me. Please help me welcome Ms. Bernadette Anderson to the Elevated Flow podcast.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. Incredibly busy, but good.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm going to give you a formal introduction. Bernadette Anderson is a rowing coach, coxswain, and late-in-life athlete who proves it's never too late to rewrite your story. She discovered rowing in 2020, stepping into the sport with equal parts curiosity and self-doubt, quickly turning that uncertainty into passion, leadership, and purpose. What began as a learn to row experience grew into a meaningful journey of leadership and growth. Bernadette became a crew captain, learned to cox to support her team, and later earned her U.S. Rowing Level 2 coaching certification. As a Learn to Row program coordinator, she found deep fulfillment in guiding beginners, helping them build confidence, find their rhythm, and experience the quiet pride of progress. Now in Arizona, she serves as an assistant coach with the Arizona State University Rowing Club, where she brings a thoughtful, encouraging presence to the water. Her coaching style blends clarity, compassion, and a belief that every athlete has more strength in them than they realize. Her two granddaughters are the center of her world. They inspire her to lead by example, to show up with courage, to keep growing, and to embrace life fully. For Bernadette, empowerment isn't something she talks about. It's something she lives every single day. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to just jump right into it and talk about. So you started, I said in the bio, that you found rowing in 2020. Let's go back. Did you play any other sport growing up?
I did not play any sports growing up. I used
Okay.
to go to Delray, and I would see the rowers going by as I would walk the dog, and I'm like, that looks like a relaxing sport. And so I looked up, learned to row, found it. Took me 3 tries to get into the program. I got into it, and I distinctly remember sitting there in my Learn to Row first day, like, what did I get myself into? And then later on, I was like, I don't think this is for me. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just stick it out. I stuck it out, and then I absolutely loved it.
Wow. So what about the experience made you feel like it wasn't for you?
Because, again, I thought it was a relaxing kind of sport. It just looked like it. And you get in there and learn to row. The set, no one knows how to set the boat. And I was just like, okay, this is going to be a whole lot harder than I had even imagined. And I thought, just like, who do I think I am trying to learn a sport? Like, who am I? But anyway, I was like, you know what? I'm going to stick it out. Let's see where it takes me. And I did. I stuck it out, and realizing everyone else was still learning, and we pulled it together, and we became a pretty good crew.
So you stepped up soon after, right? And you became a team captain?
Yes. Once we graduated our Learn to Row program, then it was like somebody had to step up and be captain. So I was like, okay, I'll be captain. And I had to learn how to, do all the lineups and get everybody coordinated, which isn't always the easiest thing, making sure the boat is filled. But yeah, stepped up into captain, loved it. And then I had a cox. And coxing was not anything I was looking to do. So you don't call in sick to rowing, but I'll be honest, I called in saying I'm not coming to rowing when it was my turn to cox.
Really?
Yeah. I that 2 times, and, a friend of mine's like, "Look, it's outside of the box for you, just do it." And I was like, "Okay, fine." So I did it, and it was just like, I absolutely loved coxing. And then
Really?
I loved it after that. I was like, "Okay." I was never one to be, like, in charge of a whole crew. I was like, "How am I gonna be in charge of all these people? I'm responsible, making sure they're safe, making sure we don't hit any buoys, making sure we have a good workout." That was just a lot of responsibility that I wasn't really ready to take on, but I did it. And I kind of knew from that moment on, the confidence doesn't come before you take the leap. The
Mm,
confidence after you take the leap. And it's like, I can do
absolutely.
now I know who I am. And I was no longer like, who do I think I am? I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a coach now. So I didn't say, who do I think I am? I'm like, this is what I'm going to do.
Wow, that's awesome. So you said that you were walking. You used to walk at the marina, and that's when you saw rowing, and you thought that it was gonna be relaxing. So is walking really, like, the only exercise you were doing prior to rowing?
Pretty much. I mean, I would go to the gym, but I love to be outdoors. So I would go hiking sometimes since I was living in LA. I did a lot of the Runyon hike
Mm,
or walking on the beach. That was my other favorite thing to do. So
okay.
those were the only activities I pretty much did until
We always say love to say, like, "What's your rowing story?" So you were walking at the marina and thought it was a relaxing sport. Now, tell me more about you said you did became the captain, you became a coxswain, you loved it so much you became a coach. What was that
yes.
transition like as far as, like, being the captain, a coxswain, and then going into coaching? Were you coaching in Los Angeles before you moved to Arizona?
The way that I was coaching was actually just from the coxswain seat. So
Oh,
I
okay.
wasn't launching like coaching from there. Again, we were short on coxswains, and so I would kind of coach from there. And I think by doing that, you kind of get the relationship of what the coach and the coxswain's relationship should be. I did have some coaches that would tell me to be quiet as a coxswain because I was used to being, more verbal now that I was getting my feel in the boat a little bit. So
Yes.
like, okay, when I'm the coach and I'm going to be on the launch, I'm going to make sure that the coxswain has a little bit of freedom to guide the boat, which I was kind of like held back a little bit from some coaches, not all coaches, but
Did the coaches that were telling you to be quiet, did they realize that you were a coach as well, or they were just? Because I know
yeah.
that they didn't have a well, when I was there, they didn't have, like, a regular coach. They, hired coaches to come in.
Well, I would say this was for like the Learn to Row program,
Okay.
the coaches there. So once we had them going, I would try to like, as a coxswain, trying to like remind the crew what to do, what the coach just said, but they were still trying to talk to them. And I'm like, okay. And I could feel the boat being a little offset or a little bit. So, you're trying to give them a hint like what to do. And then they were just like, okay, there should only be one of us talking. And I was like, okay. So I would just sit there and just steer the boat. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that as a coach.
I like that. Yeah. So what would you say that sport gave you? I love the fact that you said the confidence doesn't come before you know the thing, and that's true with anything. It's like you gain confidence in knowing. So what
I
else
didn't
would you say that sport gave you that you weren't expecting?
I didn't realize that the confidence comes after you dive into it because I
Mm,
was self-doubt. And I think it's common for women to do that, especially as we get older. We kind of doubt ourselves and we don't try new things that often. And it's just like, again, I was thinking, who do I think I am? Like, I'm going to start rowing all of a sudden. This is what people do in college. You don't just start rowing in your 40s. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And then I saw there were other women there that were doing it. And I was like, you know what? That little discovery for me was just like the confidence doesn't come before, it's gonna come after you dive into it, knowing I can do this, like, I know who I am now.
yeah, that's good. That's one of the things that I love about rowing, and I always encourage people to get involved with rowing because you literally can start at any age. I think
You
the
can.
oldest woman that I coached when I was at Craftsberry was 80. She was in her early 80s.
Oh, wow, that's
And
awesome.
she started rowing when she was in her 60s. So it's like, okay, this is something that you can literally get involved in at any age. What would you say that women that don't play a sport miss out on by not being involved in sports?
I would say, A, staying mobile. As
Mm,
I get older, I've learned, like, I haven't rowed as much as I was rowing before when I was in LA since I moved here,
Mhm.
you need to stay mobile. Like, you need to stay active and keep doing stuff. The other thing is the camaraderie. Like,
Mm,
rowers, like, I can go to a different city and you can row, in a different state. You can row with a different
absolutely.
boat there. And rowers just kind of get it. Like, I don't know how to explain that, but yeah, we just get it. And the
Yeah.
camaraderie is awesome. It's a great community, to be honest.
Yeah. Outside of rowing, how do you okay, so you became a coach. How would you say that confidence or did that confidence translate into the work that you do and what kind of work do you do?
Actually, the confidence does, because I moved from LA to Arizona. I'm a paralegal for estate planning. I knew nothing about estate planning. And
Mm,
so I'm like, here I go again. I'm just going to move states, start a new career, and assistant coach. I did that. I only moved here since January, and it's now middle of April.
okay.
Yeah. So again, the confidence doesn't come. I learned the confidence doesn't come before. Confidence comes when you're in it and you're doing it.
So did you have what career path were you in prior to paralegal?
Was a legal secretary, but I was doing corporate and real estate.
Okay.
And this one is estate planning. And, I'm doing signings with clients and it's a pretty high volume. Like, I didn't expect it's a high volume.
So you feel like the confidence that you gain from realizing that the confidence comes once you start a thing, you gain that in even starting a new job, a new
Yeah,
career.
exactly, exactly. And again, it's just like sometimes the doors don't open because you're qualified. It's just they open more because you're brave enough to knock on the door or to open it yourself and just kind of go through it.
Absolutely. It's interesting because I say this a lot where women feel like, I don't know, it's something about, I've heard people say this, like 50 years old, it's like you're at, what does it say there? It's like you're at the top of the hill, so to speak, and you have more years behind you than you do ahead of you. And it's like, no, we could technically live just as many years, but it's almost like once we get to this age, it's like
Yeah.
downhill from there. So, what is that experience like for you in like starting something new and feeling like you can have a full on different career in a whole different industry than you maybe went to
I would
school
say that
for?
it's the mindset. We're the type of people like women, we always like to nurture and tell our kids you can do anything that you want to, but we have a difficult time of taking our own advice. Even with friends, we encourage friends to do things. We give friends great advice, but I think we don't take our own advice
Mm,
sometimes. We don't do enough self reflection. And
right.
like, we should encourage ourselves just as much as we would our children, our grandchildren, or our friends. And
Right.
we just don't take that time.
Now, speaking of children, I said in your bio that your granddaughters are your world. What do they live in Arizona and how has that affected that relationship with you moving?
My granddaughters do live in Arizona, and
Okay.
they are the reason why I moved to
Okay.
Arizona was to be closer to family. I have another daughter, she lives in Hawaii, and so she recently had an accident in Hawaii.
Mm,
After that accident, I felt like I needed to be closer to family. So Hawaii was a little expensive for me to move to be closer to her. And so I figured, I'm going to come stay over here with the grandbabies. And if my other daughter, Marissa, who lives in Hawaii, has babies, then I will up and move and I will move to Hawaii to help her out because she was in a motorcycle accident.
mm.
She had her left hand amputated.
Oh, wow.
She has been an amazing woman. Like, I mean, she's the strongest woman that I know. And you, as a parent, can only hope that you raise your children to have the strength and the intelligence and the courage that, when something like this would happen. And she's the one that told me, said, "Hey, mom, I know what's going to happen." And she says, "They're going to have to amputate my hand." And she's like, "But I'm okay with it." She's like, "It's a new journey and I'm just going to appreciate life in a new way." I
Wow.
swear this was the moment I just cried. Like, I was just like, "Okay, you are a lot braver than me." And people were asking me, "How are you taking?" I'm like, "It's not about me, it's about her." And she's amazing. Like, she's strength in personified.
Wow. That brought
And
tears to my eyes.
She has been amazing, and, like, she was protecting me while we were in the hospital room. She didn't want me to see her hand. So anytime the nurses came in and they had to adjust her, she's like, "Mom, turn around." And her hand had gone black, and so she didn't want me to see it. And so I did take a peek but yeah, she was just like, "Mom, turn around, like, I don't want you to see it." But yeah, and she's just amazing. I went to visit her in Hawaii. She's driving around. She put a little bus driver down. She's driving around. She does lymphatic massages. So I had gone out there to help her out to make sure that she was still able to do it. So I was her guinea pig, and she tested it out on me. She has appointments, and she's just been working and living her
She
best.
does the massages. Wow. And how old
Yes,
is your daughter?
she's 30.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah. And I was on the boat when she texted me. I was coxing a boat, and she had texted me saying, "Hey, mom, I'm going to go to the hospital. My elbow has been dislocated." And I was like, okay. And I was just like, still not able to concentrate. I'm like, "Well, let me know how it goes and give me a call." She says, "Okay." Next day she calls, "I'm gonna have to have another surgery." And I was just she had 5 surgeries in 5 days.
Wow.
The artery, she severed an artery and it just kept clotting up, spasming. So circulation wasn't going to her hand. So and it just for some reason, it was almost like in survival mode, like it didn't want her to bleed out. And so it just kept clotting. And so yeah, that's what happened. And she is again the most amazing woman that I know.
That is so powerful, but you have to, of course, take some credit for
Again, you just hope you can say only so much to your children and
right.
instill some and just hope that when the time does come, hopefully it doesn't, that, it just has sunk in. And when she said that, I was just like, honestly, I say a lot, but I don't know if I would have been as strong as she was at the moment. So,
Right, right, right. Wow, that's powerful. Thanks for sharing that. Wow.
yeah.
So
That's the reason why I moved to Arizona. So long story short, I moved to Arizona to be closer to family. Just recently over the weekend, I showed my granddaughters my crew. It was crew classic. We were racing. And so it was on YouTube. And I'm like,
okay.
okay, this is what grandma does when we row. And I said, this boat right here, do you see me right there? And they're like, oh yeah, that's you. You're on TV? I said, yeah, I played it up. Yeah, I was on TV. It was YouTube. I was on TV.
Wow.
And so we like the race. And so now they understand. I'm like, so I said, when you guys get a little bit older, I'm going to coach you. You guys are going to be rowing.
I love it. I love it. I know it was like I think it was 5 years. I had been rowing 5 years before anyone in my family or friends ever saw me row.
Really?
'Cause it's one of those sports where it's like it's not as they say, it's not a spectator sport, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
you could go and watch a little piece or whatever, but, you know, when I was in Los Angeles, we didn't do a lot of racing, so it wasn't until actually the December before I moved that I did the what was it, in Long Beach? It's like the
So
holiday, the Christmas something, Christmas regatta. Yeah, in Long Beach.
short, fast race. So I haven't even done that.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah. That one's,
And it's not even 1,000 meters, but,
no,
you know,
I said,
we're talking about strength, okay? And you're talking about how strong your daughter is and with going to through her situation. And it makes me think about when I was helping with Learn to Rose when I was in Los Angeles, one of the things that I would always talk about is rowers need to also lift weights and do strength training, resistance training. And because, everybody it was a lot more recreational, but everybody was not necessarily working out and rowing on their
oh,
own outside of practices. So it was like a
yeah.
difference in strength and ability and all of that. But I did appreciate the coxswain saying rowing, you can't just row to get better at rowing. You have to do cross training, you have to do strength training. And I was like, thank you, because I would always say that to people when I was helping with the Learn to Row, like, "Get in the gym, you need to build strength," you know? So talk about that. How have you incorporated strength training, and have you seen a difference in how you've improved with your rowing?
I am be honest. I have not been doing my strength training. I'm
Okay.
just gonna I haven't been able to row again since I moved out here, the new job, and I'm not exactly really close to the marina. So
Mm.
in order for me to I can coach because I don't have to put the boats away, shower, and get to the office in time. So if I were to row, we don't get to make our schedule like we did in LA,
Mm,
as we want to row. So they row 5 to 7, then put the boat away. And I need to be at work in the office by 8. So hasn't really worked out. I'm trying to row in the evenings. So I'm still getting acclimated and getting my schedule accordingly so I can row in the evenings, I'm thinking. But
okay.
I'll get there. I'm not giving up. I did
Well,
go out
you
Tuesday night in a quad.
say that again?
Went out Tuesday night in a quad with my friend Omar, who also used to row in LA. He now moved out to Arizona.
Oh, that's so interesting. It's funny because when you say Arizona, and I know people think this even um with Las Vegas. And people say the same thing in Texas, like, "Where do you row?"
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
being in Arizona is like, "Okay, where" but I know, like, in Texas, I mean, you can row pretty much anywhere. You find a body of water and, I mean, one of the lakes that we row on here is only they don't even have a 2K course. I think we just did a scrimmage and we did 1,500 meters, and then there's, like, a bridge or something that, gets
yeah.
in the way of extending it or whatever, but, yeah, you find a body of water, you can row.
They do have desert sprints out here in March. Yeah, they do have the desert sprints out here, which I miss because I went to LA and everyone was coming out here.
Okay. So have
So
you haven't competed in that one before? Desert
no,
Sprints? Okay, I think
no.
that's the one that we were supposed to do, that maybe this last year, but we didn't do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I will say just moving, even though you are closer to family and, it was a big decision for you to move, but just, I know that you called the coach at Arizona State University and just said,
Mhm.
okay, can I coach? It takes a lot of courage to actually do that. Do you feel like that would be something that you would have done prior to, like, just having that confidence as a coach?
No. Even some of my rowers from LA, they're like, "You're doing what?" I'm like, "I don't know why you guys are surprised anymore." It's just like, I mean, that's how you get to do stuff. Just ask. I'm like, "Hey, do you guys need a coach?" And they're like, "Yeah, we do need an assistant coach." So I'm just like, "Okay." They're like, "Come on down." I'm also going to be a coach for Tempe boating. I just applied and I met with them and they're like, "Yeah, so a part-time job on the weekends. I'm going to be coaching Tempe."
Well, nice. Now, what
Yeah.
type of cruise do they have?
I think they have the masters and then they have learn to row. So learn to row to novice is my specialty. So
Right.
I get to do that.
What do you think would have happened if you didn't take that first step in
You
rowing?
know,
Because, like for rowing for me is like everything. Like I am involved in rowing on so many levels.
rowing it started off almost like a therapy because it was 2020. We were going through the whole COVID thing. And so it was definitely therapy. And no matter what was going out in life, we would always say, let's leave it here on the water, take
Yes.
it out of the water. So, and it would just bring you peace by the end. I mean, it was difficult to get up that early in the morning. Don't get me wrong. And especially when it was cold and we're going to walk in the water and like, why are we doing this? We must really love this. We question ourselves every morning.
Right.
And then and it's like you see the sunrise and, you're getting the great workout before anybody wakes up. You've already accomplished something.
Right, right, right. That is one thing that I don't miss about Los Angeles, the beach launches.
The
I
beach
say,
launches.
I've been rowing for 10 and a half years now, and there was one winter in Los Angeles, it was 2019, where I was saying, it's just too cold. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to take a little break. And I sat
Yeah.
out for like 2 or 3 months. That was the
Oh,
longest time that I didn't row, but I just couldn't. I mean, the chill when you put your feet in that water was just like, and then because it's so cold, once you get on the water,
yeah.
your feet don't dry during the workout. So you're like, I feel like I'm getting frostbite. It's
Yeah.
just like, I'm good. I'm good.
Everyone tried divers socks. Everyone's been trying all sorts of different things. And it's like, you're going to be wet. You're going to be cold. Like, it's what it's going to be.
I always say this is one water sport that nobody likes to get wet. It's like,
Yeah, I know.
I don't
I
want to be
know.
wet.
Want to
So
be
yeah,
wet.
with the beach launches, you have no choice. But
I
anyway,
do have a challenge with dock launching though.
say
Just
that again.
again, I do have my challenge with dock launching, me squatting down and getting into the boat, like I got to work on my mobility. I'm not. Yeah. I
Absolutely.
need to practice my squats. I need to practice something because yeah, that's a challenge for me. So did like the beach launches because it was just easier for me to get in,
Right. Right.
but I just have to work on it. So,
That's strength training. Gotta get it.
yep,
Gotta get it. Yeah.
yep, exactly.
So, what would you say to an older woman that is still sitting on the sidelines? I said at the very beginning, if you feel like it's too late to get started, yes, what would you say to an older woman that feels like it's too late, and they're just sitting on the sidelines watching everybody else, cheering
It's
everybody else on?
never, never, never too late. Like, again, when I first learned to row, there was people of all ages and every background. Everyone's just going out. It was just a challenge. It's just a mindset of like, hey, I really want to master this. I really want to get it. But it's never, never too late. And then it's like, trust me, if it's a desire that you have, once you get in there, it's going to take a little work. But once it clicks, it is just so great. You will never look back and say, I wish I didn't learn how to do this. I never, I wish I didn't take that chance. You'll never say that.
Right.
You'll always be, you'll learn something from it.
Right. What would you say to a woman that is maybe doesn't have the confidence to start something and feels like, maybe they don't have time? I quote this all the time that 94% of women in the C-suite positions played a sport. And so sport allows us to build confidence. It helps us learn leadership or develop as leaders. And women that play sports usually have a lot more discipline and are more successful than those. Not to say that you have to play a sport to be successful, but they usually have a lot of success in the corporate arena. What would you say those skills are that a woman that can develop and how that can translate over into her work life?
I would say, I think mostly structure. It
Mm,
just adds a structure and repetitiveness.
mm,
If you learn thing like rowing, it's about being repetitive and being consistent. If you're consistent, you're going to get it. Like be consistent with your time management in your daily life, whether, for business, you're consistent with rowing. If you're going to take a single stroke and it's a good stroke, be consistent with that stroke. Be consistent with your timing. Be consistent with your form. And so same thing in your daily life. Be consistent and intentional. Those would be the two words. I'm
yeah.
consistent and intentional with everything that you do. Plan your day like you plan your stroke. Just be consistent.
You talked about how when you get on the water, you kind of leave everything, the stress behind and anything that you're thinking about. How would you say that women could benefit, not just from rowing, but just being active? Because I know that being active helps with mental clarity and there's so many good things about being active. How
Yeah.
would you say that that can help a woman in corporate? Do you kind of translate that over? Because a lot of women I've talked to so many women that are stressed out on the job
Mhm.
and they feel like they don't have time to work out. But just tell me how it has benefited you for working out and how it has translated over to stress management even on the job. Hey, let's pause right there for a second. What Bernadette just shared, that is the elevated framework in real time. She exhaled and got honest about where she was. She led herself instead of waiting for permission from anyone else. She energized her body through a sport she almost quit. She valued herself enough to say yes to something new, and she activated. She got in the boat, she she coached, and she transformed and built a system, not just a moment. And now she's excelling and leaving a legacy for her granddaughters that they can see in real time. That is exactly the journey I walk women through inside the Elevated Woman Collective. If you're sitting on the sidelines of your own life right now, come on, girl. You can do hard things. Comment the word elevated below or tap the link in the description and let's get you off the sidelines and into your own story. Now let's get back to the episode.
The I don't have time thing. I would say you can always make time. Again, we row. but we're out there, like, I get up at 4 in the morning. I get out there on the water. Yeah, to get out there at 5 or 5.
Right.
I mean, again, we all have the same hours of the day, so there's no reason why you can't do a walk. Get home from work, go for a walk. Even start with around the block. You have a little bit of time. You get home kinda late, like, that would be leaving it all out. Like, when you get stressed during the day from work, get home, put on some walking shoes, and just go for a walk. Like, release and just relax your body for a moment, like, just let it out. Again, I think there's always time to do a little something in the day,
Oh,
but definitely you have to release. It helps your if you feel a little depressed. I heard, exercising, it helps with that. It gets, certain hormones going and it'll just change your mood so much better.
now, working in a law office, what do you feel like they have care about your mental stability and compassionate about just you as a person and as a worker, or is it just like structure and work, work, work?
Honestly, no, this has been a tremendous law. Everyone here has been super supportive, definitely check on you on a daily basis, like, hey, how's it going? What is it that you need? And I pretty much have free reign to structure my schedule and my files that are coming in.
Nice.
It's just like, here's your file. This is what you have to do. This is the outcome. How you get there, you have free reign to figure out how you get to
Good.
point A. So, yeah, and the attorneys that I work with, they're open to any new sort of structure that I come up with, and they're actually looking forward to me helping to organize and get other things going. So,
Awesome. Okay.
great law people.
Awesome. Okay. So you're gonna be there for a while, huh?
Yeah,
Until you move to Hawaii.
but there's no rowing in Hawaii. Another tough one. Yeah, they don't have rowing. They have paddle boarding.
That's not fun.
Yeah, yeah, I can do that. So,
Okay. Okay. So
yeah.
what does your next level look like? I'm excited about you coaching with Tempe, but what does your next level look like?
That is a good question. Being that I just got here, I'm still trying to get my footing here with
Mm.
ASU. Just I've been sitting out with ASU and kind of being a silent observer, just, watching them for now, seeing what kind of program. I'm not trying to step on any toes. I just want
Mhm.
to work with the head coach and see where I fit in. And so I'm looking forward to next season with them, taking a more integral part with them. I'm not going to be able to go to Wira or Accra because I'm going to Italy with my rowing crew for the Longa Longa in Italy.
Oh, okay.
It's an annual like rowing thing in Italy, in Venice. Like everyone's out on the canal rowing. So we're doing
Nice.
that in May, which I'm really looking forward to.
This like next month, May or next year?
No, this month.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We have like 16 people from LARC going.
Nice.
Oh, really fun.
I'm feeling some
Picture.
kind of way about that.
I'll send it.
That's awesome. This was not organized with Ava, was it?
No, no, it
Okay.
was just a few of us that were gonna go, and then I think we had like a 4, and then a couple more people wanted to go, then we had 8, and then some other people wanted to go, and now we have 2 boats, so we have 16 people going
That
now.
is so awesome. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to hearing about that and seeing the pictures from that. Okay.
Oh, so love that one. So it's a
Awesome.
pretty big day thing on the 24th is
Okay.
when it's taking, but
So
yeah.
were you coxing or rowing?
Oh, I'm rowing. That's what I told them. They're like, "Are you gonna cox?" I'm like, "I am not cox." They have a coxswain for that, so
Okay. Okay.
I
That's exciting.
would be like
Yeah.
international news because 'cause there'd be like a traffic jam somewhere.
Okay. Well, you know what? The last two parts of the episode is I always ask people, when do you feel like you are in your flow state? When everything is just peaceful, coming together, you've put in the work and you're just cruising and everything feels simple.
When do I don't think I felt that yet. I'll be honest.
What?
Yeah, nothing has been simple yet. I always feel like I'm reaching for something else. Like,
Mm.
yeah, I always feel like there's more to learn. There's something else that I need. And it's not saying that I'm not fulfilled.
Mhm.
I just feel like I'm hungry for more knowledge. Okay, I've learned this. Now let me take I think that coaching rowing is an example. I learned to row. Okay, I need more. Then I learned to be a captain. Okay, I need more. Now I
Mm.
learned to coach. Okay, now I'm a coach. It's like, okay. So I never feel like anything is always going to be simple.
Mm.
I'm always constantly hungry for a little bit new knowledge. And I think that I owe that to a teacher
Mm,
because she's older and she said, never stop learning.
mm.
Doesn't matter what it is. You don't have to be a master at it, but just never stop learning. She's taken up framing at the time, and it's just something. She's just like, but never stop learning. And so
Yeah.
that little seed has been embedded in me, and I'm always looking for something else. But again, I don't think anything is ever simple. And to me, that would be my flow. As long as I'm always able and willing to learn, that's
Well,
my flow.
that's your flow. That is your flow. Because you know what? It's different for everybody. I see myself as a lifelong learner. I'm always learning something as well. But I do get in my flow when I'm on the water. And it's just like,
Yeah,
it has become peaceful. And I don't
right?
know if that is, it's not to say that it's easy.
No,
It's still like very challenging, but I do feel that my flow when I'm on the
oh,
water, in
definitely.
nature, and just
Yeah,
at peace. So, yeah. So you
I
are
would
at
say
peace in your flow when you are learning something new. That's awesome.
but rowing also, you're right, that is
Okay.
the flow. When you
Awesome.
hear everything vibing and connecting, the rhythm and timing is there, and every's just yeah, that's the best flow ever.
Definitely, definitely. Well, now the last segment is passing the torch to the next generation. It sounds like you've done a great job with your children and, the people that you coach for in Learn to Row. What would you say to maybe your younger self about getting involved in a sport or the younger generation of how important it is to be active and stay active for longevity?
Well, I teach my granddaughters, they're in soccer right now, so watching the little five-year-olds play around in soccer, I do tell them, like, "Okay, you wanna play soccer now, but don't give up on being active. If you wanna try a different sport, try a different sport." Trying to get my daughters were into softball when they were growing up, but they don't really do anything else too active, so I do try to tell them, like, "Look, I took this up. If there's anything else that you guys wanna learn, definitely keep being mobile." And again, even my daughter with her accident, now I know that she's a woman of strength. Like, I'm like, you can do anything still. So yeah, I just
Right.
try to tell her, she could go biking, she could do whatever, but she definitely needs to stay active. And even my mom, I try to tell my mom, like the walking. Walking is huge. Like just get out and walk.
Absolutely.
My mom's still working. She works two jobs sometimes, but
Mm.
that woman is pretty active. But I think she needs some downtime, just a slow walk, not where she's, working around, but just a nice settled slow walk and just to keep herself mobile and stretching. Stretching is huge, especially for my mom and
Absolutely.
older. Like people don't understand the importance of like just simple stretching in the morning
Mhm.
and stretch before you go to bed.
Right, right. Flexibility, mobility, strength, all of that plays a
Right?
huge part in how well we age. And
Exactly.
I think that no matter what age you are, you got to stay active. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Exactly.
Well, where can our listeners find you online if they want to follow you?
I have my IG and it is Ms. B02. So it's Mizz.
Okay, and we will make sure to put it in the show notes. All
Thank
right,
you.
so do you have any closing words of wisdom that you would like to leave with?
It's never too late to begin.
I love it.
Just thanks.
Just start. Just start. Absolutely.
Just
Well, thank you so much for being a guest on the Elevated Flow podcast. I really appreciate you and enjoyed this conversation.
thank
Until
you.
next time, everyone, this is Coach Flo signing off. Remember to find your zone and elevate your flow. Peace.
1, 2.